The use of artificial intelligence in the classroom has absolutely exploded over the past year, and educators have had to quickly adapt to find creative ways to bring this technology into the classroom. So here to discuss the use of generative AI in education is Jean Mohammadi-Aragh. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So what are some of the major challenges in education that you believe generative AI can address, and how?
Awesome. So one of the major challenges in education is the personalized learning that we don't have. So really in the traditional education setting, it's kind of a one-size-fits-all. I'm lecturing to my class, I may have some additional work that students can complete, but it's really just, this is what's presented. So with AI, we can have students explore on their own. They can use AI chatbots as kind of tutors to help them explore more in depth. We're looking at some systems that could identify where the students are and provide more customized feedback to help coach them almost to where they need to be. And so I think that that is really exciting. I think as a faculty perspective, we have a very heavy workload, and so being able to use generative AI to reduce our workload and also at the same time improve what we're doing. So I have ideas for a lesson. If I ask the right questions, maybe I can enhance that lesson with better activities and things like that.
And you were telling me a lot of that is learning what the correct question is to ask, the correct prompt, correct?
Yeah. So there's an area of prompt engineering that's kind of coming up, thinking about what are we asking the generative AI systems, because you really have to figure out the right questions to ask to be able to get the information that you need.
Now, when it comes to teachers, are there things that they can take from generative AI that will help in terms of classroom management and their own professional development?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've used generative AI to help me with my voice. So I'm very much an academic faculty member, and there's times that I want to talk about things at maybe the general public level, and sometimes I struggle with that. But I'm able to take what I want to say and ask the system, can you put this in a voice that someone else can understand.
Explain it to a 12-year-old.
Explain it to a 12-year-old, yeah, absolutely.
Right. I get that. Yeah. What are the ethical considerations? Because you hear about this a lot. I mean, it's this incredible tool, but with great power comes great responsibility, right? So what are the big ethical considerations, especially as it relates to data privacy and bias or perceived bias?
Yeah, so with data privacy, I think that just knowing that you're putting information into a system that you don't always know what's happening to it, it's a black box unless you have your own custom models. And so being aware that you don't want to put student data in there, maybe if you're putting information in, make sure that it's anonymized or de-identified. I also think with the bias, our education system and engineering, there's underrepresentation, and so that can also show up in the system and the results that are coming out. So being aware of biases and looking for them and not just rubber stamping what comes out, and even if it's mostly correct, just understanding that there's a lot of bias that can be introduced.
All right, looking down the road here, 5 years, 10 years from now, maybe even further down, what do you think the impact of generative AI on education will be? Do you think it's positive? How do we keep it positive?
Yeah, so I think it is going to be really positive. I think we need to keep in mind, think about what generative AI can do for us and how it can supplement what we're doing. I don't think that replacing humans is the path. I think that we're going to look at it just like we do with computers that we use now. What does a computer do and that better than me, and how can I use it to improve what I do? And so I think the same with generative AI. What can it do better than us? How can it supplement what we're doing? How can it assist us? And I think that it'll stay really positive if we're in that direction.
All right, well, that's great to hear. Jean Mohammadi-Aragh, thank you for your time.
Thank you.